it's surprising even to me how that's happened, and it's really become like a community. We've had people get married.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
The legend himself. All right, let's kick this off. So, Mr. Matt Sortel, can you please introduce yourself and share a little bit about your background in piano?
Okay, cool. Yeah. So Matt Sortel, British but live in Germany. Um, Bit of a background from a music standpoint. I guess when I was super young, like 6 years old, I had some piano lessons, but then stopped when I was like 7 or 8 because it was just all classical music, which I didn't want to do. um, Gave up music for well all the way through till I was like 18 or 19. Then I started playing guitar. Did that for a long, long time. And then it was during COVID, I want to get back to piano. It's something I loved, always loved the sound of piano. And I found your course, right? So joined that. And the last, what's that now being 3 years, I guess, right?
Yeah.
3.5 years, I think, something like that. And now it's just, I never imagined what I'm doing now with music. It was never what I thought I'd do, but joining your the Ridley Academy and now the mentorship, I am staggered at what I've achieved. I never ever imagined it was something the goals I've achieved were things I never expected to do or never even imagined to do.
Well, let me ask you this. Well, first of all, I love it. Take me back to like, what is it that made you join Ridley Academy in the first place? What is it that brought you into it?
Yeah, so I want to get back in piano, and I saw your videos, and what I loved about it for me was number one, it was bite-sized type videos, right? Because I have a normal job. It's not like I'm a musician, right? I have a proper job. So bite-sized things on videos, which I could even watch without the piano whilst I'm away traveling with work was great. Was part of it. Your enthusiasm, your energy and enthusiasm is insane levels. I don't know how you keep it up. Even on some of the videos when I know you got sore throats, you drinking tea and stuff just to keep going. I mean, it's incredible. And then obviously, I looked at YouTube and found some of your videos of how you play. Um, and I just loved that energy because for me, it was, I found pianos of old when I was younger, they sort of scared me because it was more about classical and these things are these amazing pieces of engineering which look like you shouldn't touch them. And most piano shops say don't touch them, right? And I don't know why, because this thing weighs 360 kilograms. I mean, you need a sledgehammer to damage it, right? So, um, but it always felt like classical and precision. And I've always liked rock and pop type music, right? And then seeing you play and the rhythm and the energy that you managed to, number one, you put into the piano, but also the sound which came out just fascinated me. So I thought from that was the reasons I decided to join up.
Amazing. And then you started out coming in the piano masterclass, and then you decided to join this mentorship. What was it that
Yeah.
brought you to the mentorship?
To the mentorship, yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing some pretty remarkable progress on the piano masterclass, and
Yeah.
because I was following you on
It really,
Instagram by that time.
yeah, exactly. So actually, it was during the masterclass because I only joined to. I just wanted to get back and play piano, right, for myself and do sort of rock and pop stuff. And for me, obviously, you're British, right? So you'll know this. I the things I used to love was Radio One Live Lounge, right? I'm sure you know that Joe Wiley and stuff, right? And I used to love listening to that, and then even better when they came out with those things, which I guess young people don't know anymore, the CDs, right? of the live lounges, and I just loved how the bands would take other people's songs and make them their own, right? And I just that's what I want to do for myself, not to be out there selling it, if you want to call it that, or doing it to the masses, just for myself. And through the academy, to start with, the masterclass, I was able to do that. I was able to do my own songs. Right? And even to the level that I got on Instagram, a friend of mine set it up. You should share this. And then near the end of my time of doing Masterclass, although I still go back to it, so I don't think it ever ends. Um, I then did a gig at my friend's wine bar, which was insane. But then I felt I still need to do more. I need to learn more. And the mentorship came up, and I thought actually it's great because then I can hone individual skills of my playing and performance. Because now I'm no longer just doing it for myself. I'm out there not just on social media, but performing live. Right. So that was the key.
I don't know the answer to this. Before joining, what were your biggest struggles with music?
Honestly, before joining, I was only playing the guitar at the time, and it was just for a bit of fun, right? So it was more of grabbing an acoustic guitar and jamming with some friends and just, having a beer and having a laugh. So it wasn't,
So
it
you
was
never
never,
played piano? You came
well,
in
I did
told-
early on when I was 6 years old. I did, I had piano lessons because my mum's sister used to have a girls' boarding school. And so during the summer, we'd get dumped off over there because there was no one there, me and my brother. And I was like 6 years old at the time. And they had like three or four upright pianos around the place.
Mm.
And apparently I was playing on one and it didn't sound terrible. So my mum's sister said, you should do piano to my mum. And then they got me piano lessons, which then ended up, I ended up hating it because it was 2 years of sat in a room with, I call it old school piano lessons with all classical stuff. And at the time I wanted to play things like Elton John or Elvis Presley or something, right? At that age, I didn't want to do classical and do the theory and all that stuff. It really switched me off to a level that, and I'm in some ways, I'm glad my parents said, okay, you can stop, because I think it would have put me off piano if I continued. So I completely stopped then. And then music became a thing when I joined the Royal Navy at 18. One of my instructors was a lead guitarist for a band. And so he said he'd teach me guitar. And then from then onwards, I just played guitar. I always had like a stage piano keyboard, but I never touched it because it was something which I don't know, just it was giving bad images in my head, right? From past. So it was always just guitar. And it was, I don't know, just during COVID, I just felt, okay, I want to get in piano. It was always the sound I've loved. So yeah, then I got back into piano, and it was fascinating that I obviously found your course, but also I found the guitar pieces, because it's obviously rhythmic, sort of helped me tune into putting more rhythm into piano. And it's also something I know I'm still working on, but yeah, that's sort of where it came from.
Amazing. So before 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 ever coming in this time, what would you say were your biggest struggles on piano?
Honestly, for me, it was a multitude of things. I was taught, I guess, classical sight reading when I was younger, right? So it's that stuff I remembered. Even though it was many, many years ago, it was that sort of things I remembered. And I remembered, but outside that, I couldn't remember much else, right? I had no idea what scales really were or why you should use them, right? Or what's the point in all these blooming things. So that I had no idea about. Um, Obviously, then how to even convey that into a rhythm, because although classical music obviously has a rhythm, it's more, this is probably a bad thing to say, so maybe this shouldn't be aired or edited out. It's I always it sounds plinkety plinkety to me. And maybe it's because of how I don't get me wrong, I love classical music, right? But for me, of what I wanted to convey in music, it sounds plinkety plinkety rather than rocky and poppy, right? So I guess that was also something that I struggle with then to start with, coming back in piano. How do I change something which, although it was only 2 or 3 years of piano training from 6 till sort of 8ish, right, years old, and then never touched it again? How do I, that was still ingrained in my brain, right? It was that sort of traumatic in some ways. That it was trying to, how do I get that out of my head to move into the sort of songs I wanted to play and the way I wanted to play, right?
Mm.
So
Amazing. Um, How has Ridley Academy changed the way that you learn and play piano?
I mean, totally changed. I still do the basic skills to start, the sort of 10 minutes. That's the one thing I do all the time, right? Where I do the going up and down the scales or the finger gym exercises. They're things I still do because even if I don't get the time to play, I find sometimes I could be a week or 10 days without touching a piano because of my work and travel. And but I'll still be doing that when I get back. And I'm surprised how much that advances me still, even now, in being able to play better. So I think being able to really feel the piano, that it becomes part of you rather than it's a separate instrument. I think that's really come out of the Ridley Academy for me. And then secondly, the ability just to very easily make a song my own. I find I back to why I said I wanted to do piano originally was that live lounge type thing of making a song your own. And that I find now I listen to songs go, oh wow, I could do it in this sort of way on a piano. It just naturally starts coming in, and um, and then being able to turn it into my own songs. I just it amazes me even today. I watch back videos myself, and I sort of pinch myself and don't believe it's me playing. So
That is amazing. And how long have you been on the mentorship now?
well, I was one of the first ones, so I guess it's what 9 months, something like that, I guess.
Something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
And how has that changed your playing?
Oh, incredibly. So for me, it was we focused heavily with my mentor on rhythm. So rhythm was the main thing um, because she had said you've got the musicality, we need to get more of the rhythm and not just but more consistent rhythm and also more deliberate rhythm, right? I guess so. That's what we really worked on, and I can feel it when I play. So I can see it when I watch the video back, but also I feel it when I play that my rhythm is more consistent. And of course, and I think it was probably the piece being honest, it was the piece in the masterclass I didn't spend as much time on because it brought me back to the horrible training of a metronome, right? When I was younger. But now you probably see maybe in the background as a metronome on the piano. It's a thing which I guess I've been using the most all the time. And before I did my last gig, all I did my songs which I had chosen. I went through every song playing them with a metronome at like 60 beats, 90 beats, 120, 180, even if they're slow songs, to get all these like precise rhythms nailed throughout so that then I could play them however I wanted to. And I found it was much more easier, more natural to play. And I'm still focusing on rhythm. I don't think you ever give up on that, right? But it's something I now love, and I love the metronome. So yeah, I guess that's the main. And obviously, and outside of that, I guess your piece is from it the more performance piece, right? That piece I took a lot more in thinking of, well, how do I make these videos look better, or how do I perform differently? And especially because I'm singing too, which is something I'd never done before I started the academy or masterclass. So um, I think that whole performance and confidence around performing and singing is I guess, the other layer which I've taken away from you through the mentorship.
That's amazing. Amazing. So let me ask you this, because you've alluded to something there, but people watching are not going to know this. And so you've gone from not really touching a piano since you're 8 years old, couldn't sing, never sang, and there you're just talking about doing gigs. So
Mhm.
how's that gone? Like you're doing gigs now.
Carry each other, yeah, carry each other.
What's all that about?
I have no idea. um,
But because some of these gigs are pretty extraordinary. Like, well, I'll let you tell it. But the more recent we did in Germany, and then invitation to China and all this kind of stuff. Like, I want you to tell that story.
yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, to start with, it was never something I wanted to do. And a friend of mine in Germany who owns a wine bar. He kept pressuring me to come and do not pressuring me. He kept asking me to come do a gig, and I was never comfortable to do it. And but once he had a local band he had organized who fell through last minute, so he really sort of begged me to do it. I'm like, okay, so if you give me some free wine, I'll do it, right? So we have Dutch courage. So I did that, well, I guess 18 months ago, and it was the first time I had done something, and it was insane. I never, I can't. It's very hard to explain afterwards, right? The emotional, I can say high, but also exhaustion, the whole body. It was just insane feeling, right? And that gave me then the bug to go, I want to do this again. And but it took another, I guess, another year or so. So, and then September, because I wanted to learn more as well. I learned a lot from that. That I needed more songs because people wanted me to do more encores and more time. I needed to be more confident because it was first time really singing in public as well. And so like everything was off of a laptop screen. And so it was, I mean, it was good. It was full and people kept coming in. So it can't have been that bad, but for myself, I want to do better. So then I spent the time mentorship and everything else, honing my skills more, the songs I wanted to play, thinking about playlists and performing. And then it's sort of my last gig, which was this an awesome one. It's an outdoor gig, which also gave me another level of scaredness because you're outside. So you have to be good or people won't come in, right? It's not like a wine bar where people come for wine. And it was a local piano shop in where I am in Wiesbaden in Germany. They've been around for 125 years, and they are a piano maker, and it's an incredible shop. And I had them actually graffiti one of my pianos, right? So I have an upright piano, and they have a graffiti artist because they did some. There's a thing in Germany called piano bombing, where some piano shops have donated pianos, had them graffitied, and leave them around the cities. So you just play and post them on Instagram, right? So really cool. And so I asked them to graffiti one of my pianos, and they followed me on Instagram, and they asked me to come and why don't you turn it into a gig? We've got an outdoor courtyard, and we could have the graffiti artist graffitiing your piano, and then you can do a gig. And so I'm like, sure. I mean, awesome. And they obviously gave me a piano to play, and but they said let's do it during. It was something called Stadtfest here, which is city festival. So the city festival is all about music. So all the way around the city, there's even famous German bands and stuff. Well, proper famous people playing. And so he said, why don't you come and do it during that? So I had a 3-hour session on a Saturday in the afternoon. Man, it was like scary to start with because the only people when I got there were obviously my friends, my couple of friends, family, wife, that type of stuff, right? And it was a big outdoor space. We could have, about 100 to 120 people in it. And you just walk off the street into it, the main walkway for town. And I just remember thinking to myself, oh, it better be good. If I turn around and there's still just 3 people here, what do I do, right? I'm supposed to be here for 3 hours. But I did I planned my start with like a song and a half, if you want to call it that, sort of linked together from an entrance to then the song. And I stopped and there was a load of cheering. I turned around and there was, I don't know, I guess 50 odd people, 50, 60.
Wow.
And then it became about 70 people there. And
How did that feel? How did that moment feel? Because I remember, Matt, I remember when we were on the mentorship and you were coming to the coaching that I'm doing these Zoom sessions with you, and you had a lot of questions about performance, and you were asking, okay, so I've got this coming up. How do I do the set list? How do I do that? And how do I sing when I'm out of breath? You had like a lot of really specific questions. Like, oh, something's coming here. And then you told me about what you were going to be doing. And I was like, oh man, this is so cool. Because I've seen this transformation. I've seen it's like moth to butterfly to eagle.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, this is going to be amazing. So how's that feeling when you've practiced, you've been through this, and then you turn around and there's 50, 70 people?
It was just bonkers. I mean, it was just insane. It was there was this feeling of relief because people came in, right? Um, but at the same time, this massive like excitement. I think I'm not sure if someone took a video or picture. The smile must have been insane on my face, right? I was like, it was just insane. These people applauding and loving it, and just the fact they came off the street. Um, it gave me another energy, a bit more nervous energy again because all of there to get back into the other songs and things. But it was incredible. And then, but different moments throughout, right? Because these were energetic songs to start with to drag people in. Then I went into some slower or more emotional type songs from a sadness or whatever type thing. And then sometimes you finished and it was dead silence. And I thought, oh no, has everybody left? Right? Because and then there's a pause, and then again you got this applause, and you looked around. I'm like, and that was probably even another emotional crazy moment because you realize they were just totally in it with you, right? It was crazy. And there was another moment I played Britney Spears Hit Me Baby One More Time, right? And I was doing a bit, and the bit where it comes out Hit Me Baby One More Time, and I paused before I did it, and someone from the audience shouted out, Hit Me Baby One More Time. And everyone started laughing because it was off because I had held back on the song. And then literally every time I just kept turning around to get people to sing it when we were doing it. It was, yeah, I mean, it was amazing. And just to make every single moment then after that, the different songs I did, the different interactions, um, the break when everyone started coming up talking to you about it, they were asking me, do I teach piano and could I teach them and things? I mean, it was insane. And then there was a second session because we had a break, everyone left, and the second session was just as busy with different people. So yeah, it was an incredible experience. And that I'm going to do the same place when the weather gets a bit warmer. I'm going to do the same gig around sort of April, May time this year. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Wow. I mean, look at that. What is it like to did you ever imagine coming into Ridley Academy that you'd be doing something like that?
No, never, never. I mean, piano was a thing which was always just something to myself. Do you know what I mean? So even when I was younger, I'd lock myself in a room and do it. It was something very personal. Um, and again, coming back into it, it was nothing about for anybody, right? It was just for me. It was very selfish, just for me, a personal journey, whatever you want to call it, right? Um, and it was just through the mentorship, through the masterclass, giving me confidence to sing as well. Because I know you say you should sing as well as play, right? And try and getting into that, encouragement from my wife and my friends and things, pushing me in some ways because you need some pushing, right? But with it saying, no, you're really good, you should go try, and then sharing it with the world, if you want to call it that, and seeing positive things back. Yeah, it never in my wildest dreams that I'd think I was doing that. And to be able to now just do covers how I want to do them, and I'm still on that journey of making them even more my own. To even like last year, I started jotting down a couple of songs, writing my own songs, which I mean, that again, writing lyrics and my own song was never anything I imagined, right? I just wanted to mess around at home and be able to go, oh, I like this song and play it on the piano, right? And I've gone from that to be able to do that, to be able to sing the songs, to be able to make them my own, to do live gigs. And also starting to write my own songs. So yeah, it's insane. So I have no idea where this journey is going to go or end up. But it continues every day. I feel I'm more energized and achieving. I can see more progression every time. So yeah,
It's amazing, Matt, really. And it's a weird thing to say because I'm younger than you, but I'm so proud of you. I genuinely am so proud of you. I'm like, it's just such a lovely thing. I remember seeing you very early on in the piano masterclass when you'd first posted something on social media, and then I remember you posted a video and you're like 1 million views, and I was like, wait, what? And and I clicked on it. I was like, holy shit! Like you were the you were the first student to get 1 million views. I was like, oh my god! And I was like, major proud dad feelings.
Cool.
And I was like, whoa, this is so cool. And then I shared that with everyone, like with all my followers. I was like, look at this guy, look at this guy. Like, this is my student. And uh to just see like this progress, it's so fulfilling for me. Also, like, this is why I built the school for
Yeah.
people like you, and for experiences like you're now having. Everything that you've experienced is something I've experienced. I played in a piano shop in Italy. People came up to me afterwards and asked do I teach, and I didn't at the time. And
Yeah.
I had that my whole life, and then and this weird feeling of people suddenly been interested in you, and you're like, oh my god, you go from like a normal human to the most interesting guy in the room. And
Yeah.
um, it's so amazing. Like the entire postulate and uh, imagination I had for the academy starting it was just other people being able to be in the seat that I get to sit in, rather than just stuck in the audience seat. Um, and it's just amazing to see, dude. Um, oh,
The other thing which is great about the academy is the community that you created, right? It's the same thing that people are willing to share and help each other as well. So it's I think that gives a natural encouragement to everyone, and it definitely helped me as well, seeing others posting, right, at all different levels, and all different levels helping each other and supporting. And it's I think it's great. The community you've created is fantastic, let alone obviously the course content and all those things. But I think the community is one of the real powerful parts of it. So
it's funny. I was talking to Tange before, who was uh he was the guy. If you remember, he was the first winner on the mentorship, the first challenge winner, and he did that.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And I just had a conversation with him this morning. He said he was like, the thing I've most enjoyed about the mentorship is the group coaching. I was like, really? He
uh-huh.
was like, yeah, because I find that like everyone's helping everyone, and it's like this real group and community. And he talked at some length about that, and it's interesting to hear you say the same thing, which is kind of
Yeah.
accidental, by the way. I of course I wanted it to be that way, but it's it's surprising even to me how that's happened, and it's really become like a community. We've had people get married. It's quite um, that is incredible. Like, can I ask you this then? So, what's can you tell me about some specific breakthrough moments that you've had through this journey? As you've been through these moments of like, oh my god, I'm getting it. Oh my god, that's amazing. I'm imagining you might have had a couple of those.
Yeah. Um, I've got to say, number one, the scales. That how you teach the scales, and definitely with the tone semitone type dynamic, fantastic, right? And being able to very quickly understand, number one, the scales, but then how they work and how they work in collaborations, be able to create songs, or how songs work within them. I mean, for me, that's I would say the biggest breakthrough for me, is huge one for me, because straight from that I was able to. I mean, I don't look at. I can't remember the last time I looked at any sheet music, right? I look up the chords, and then I know the song, or I listen to the song, I can play it, right,
Mm,
in my own way, not just playing chords. So and that's because I know the scale it's in, and I know the chords, I know that what works within it. So I can tell what notes to play, how I want to play it.
mm,
And I mean, for me, there's got to be the biggest breakthrough I've had for the journey I want to do, which was make songs my own as sort of cover songs, right? So for that has been incredible, because now I can, any song, even if I've not heard it before, I can listen to it, search the chords, and within 15, 20 minutes, I can play it and everyone know what it is, right? So I need more time to make it perfectly my own. But for me, that was an incredible breakthrough.
wow.
And then I think the other one's got to be the singing. Um, I think that makes even for me, forget the audience, whether I put it on social media or go to do my gigs. Um, when I sing and play, I feel more connected. I feel more emotional about it, right? Of how I'm playing. And although in some ways it makes it harder because you've got two things going on, right? The singing and playing. Um, I found that journey of changing the dynamics of how I'm playing versus when I want to sing and things. That whole journey, as I've gone down that path, I it just for me, I feel just much more emotionally connected to the piece of music I'm playing.
Amazing. That's beautiful and very observable, I have to say. Like, very observable. Um,
Yeah.
particularly, you did the I Put a Spell on You. I remember you I was looking at your performance of that on one of the challenges. You'd submitted that as your song. The dynamics, I mean, everything about that, I was like, whoa, this is a level up. And you can just see this greater, like, I don't know the word in English, that you're just merging into piano
Yeah.
music, and it becomes this, like, it's the birth of an artist. It's an amazing, amazing thing to see. Um, so it's kind of interesting to hear your experience of it. It's exactly what I observe also. Um, amazing. Um,
And it's really
what?
strange because it doesn't feel like you suddenly get these big step changes, right? Like you said from that. It's really weird. I don't know how it happens. It just suddenly, wow, now I can do this. It's bizarre.
Yeah, that's an amazing thing. What is it like having direct access to a coach? Obviously, that's a feature in the mentorship that's not in the
Yeah.
People Masterclass. How's that been?
Oh, I've really enjoyed that because I think we're all at different levels and we have different journeys we want to go on, right? So for me, that's the group classes are great once a week. I find they're great because you come in and you hear different people's challenges, which you learn from as well. So I think that's fantastic. But the real thing for me is the real one-on-one sessions you have where you're able to send back and forth videos of what you're doing and get guidance. Um, that's really helped, especially because I wanted to focus on certain type of music genre and also a certain type of rhythm dynamics. So that's been incredible because that's then all we talk about back and forth, and that's been great. And we've got to level now where look, there's still work for me to do on my rhythm, but I feel, or we both feel that it's in the place that it, with just my continuing will get to where it needs to be, that we're now focusing on more of the sort of riffs and stuff in between, because that's where I want to sort of focus next, right? To really strengthen that piece. So yeah, that's been incredible because it's so easy. You just do a quick video and send it off. And I think it's the other piece actually from the whole mentorship and academy, because you're asking for video submissions, getting more comfortable with a video on you. It's something which I do now whenever I'm in front of the piano. I just put my camera on and just leave it going for half hour, an hour, just recording, and listen back, because the listening back, you can see more, not just how you're performing, but how you're playing. So I think all of that piece of these quick videos and you send them off, fantastic, great feedback, and you get very specific feedback with the video because Madison's my coach. She'll go in and go, at 3 minutes 27 seconds, you're off by half a beat. I'm like, really? But it's
Well,
great, right?
we'll
You need
watch it.
that.
That is awesome. I mean, that it is. It's so funny as what I mean. There's got to be a correlation between that and the kind of your social media is. I mean, some people would dream of having some of the stuff you've done on social media. Um, I'm curious, what was it like for you getting 1 million views on a performance when you didn't even imagine you were going to be performing, but and then now you find yourself with 1 million views? Is that surreal, or what is that for
Yeah,
you?
it was bizarre because sort of bizarre. So a friend of mine set up my social media because she does like it's something she does. I hadn't done any social media really before, apart from LinkedIn or Facebook, right? So um, she'd set it up originally, and I remember I think it was one of my earlier posts, and like 5 or 6 posts in, I think, or something, right? And it was insane. She was messaging me going, "You've got to go, you've got to go look at your post." And I'm like, "What?" And like, and it just kept going up and up. And we're going, "This is crazy." It was surreal. It didn't really feel like it was me. It was really, really odd. And it was staggering. It was insane. It was I never imagined that would be something that I would achieve on social media as a post. I guess the problem is after that, you're like, oh, how did that happen? And try and analyze it. You keep doing it where we've got to take that out of your mind. It was just, yeah, it was just insane. It just, and it still today doesn't feel real. But I look back at other posts and I still have posts which have 10 or 20,000 or 30,000 views and things as well. Right. So,
Which
um,
is Madison Square Garden.
yeah, it's crazy, right? It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah. Like what the biggest post you did, how many views did that get? Like, do you know what that got to?
I think it is that one where it got to about 1.2 million, something like that. Yeah.
1.2 million. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I mean, there is no stadium, but can you
Yeah.
mm, eh, just imagine that when you sat down and played that, and somebody just put a camera on you,
Yeah.
you were essentially on a stage with 1.2 million people in the audience.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely insane.
quite bizarre, right?
Yeah. Doesn't make any sense, does it?
Yeah. Oh, dude. Well, I mean, when I watched it, I was like, it's just obvious. Like you were just rocking out. I was like, this is,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's, it was amazing. And like I said, I just rushed to show everybody I knew as fast as I could. It absolutely made my day. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so how do you like the Zoom sessions with me? How has that helped?
Yeah. So I always liked in the masterclass, you used to do the Facebook sessions, but obviously with those, they were more of, you were interacting, but in a different way, right? Because you sat back listening rather than interacting. So what I really love about the Zoom lives with the mentorship is actually it is like this. We are talking, right? If it's your question, you can actually come on. We're on cameras. We can engage. So
Yeah.
first off, that makes it feel like you're more like in the room with you, which is amazing, right? I know you're a busy guy, right? So for me and the time you dedicate to those, which I always love when you open them. Yeah, I'm only gonna be an hour and a half because I've got a flight. 3 hours later, and now you've got everyone saying, "Come on, you get on your plane," which I love because you just love your enthusiasm to share is it's infectious and it's amazing, right? So I think that's always cool. But yeah, for me, it's the piece that we can interact, and also with the challenges you link to this, right? I think it gives specifics that we're all aligned with. So everybody on the call, it's all in the same purpose, if that makes sense, to get this ultimate goal of also getting better as an individual, but delivering to the challenge that you set as well. So I
Talk about
think,
the challenges, because imagine
yeah,
the people watching this won't even know what a challenge is. So talk me through the challenge, and from your perspective as a student, like what's that like? How does it work? And what's the
yeah,
benefit of that?
yeah. So I think I'm gonna say the first time you brought the challenges in was probably what about 8 weeks in, I think, right? A couple of months into the
Correct.
mentorship starting. Um, so initially the place before for the mentorship was obviously the coaching, the individual things we were getting, as well as the masterclass for the I call it the core elements of training, right? And then I remember live and you brought out the challenge, which was do a cover song. Was it Hallelujah first
That's
one?
right.
No,
Hallelujah.
it was right. Yeah, and you showed on the live the video of you doing it, and I think in a church, right, somewhere, and it was incredible. And you talked a little bit of how you did that, but then afterwards you had a whole different video tutorial to go and watch. Again, just like you do in your others, these little sort of 5 minute, 8 minute bite-sized chunks of video of how you went about making that song your own and breaking it down with even more, it's more personalized training around how you look at things. which adds this whole different level of skilling on top of the normal course content. I can tell you that it definitely scared people. So there was,
I know.
I remember on my Zoom call with my coach Madison afterwards, the group Zoom call, the week afterwards. Oh, like, how am I supposed to do this? How am I like properly? But it was good because it pushed people, right? And it's not about, I know you share this, it's not about being perfect because everyone's in different levels as well. And actually with the sort of songs like that, some of the I'll say bad stuff, but some of the non-perfection actually makes it perfect, right? So I think how you conveyed that meant that many people submitted, even if they didn't sing, or even if they're very early on in the sort of training journey or learning journey. So I find them great because it gives you something which we're all busy, because generally I think, well, I'm sure you know, but I generally feels like majority of the people are not musicians, right?
Right.
We've all got a job to do, and this is something we want to do as a hobby or passion, or maybe something else in the future. And so I think it's great because it gives a real, quite a tight time scale for some, right? But it's 8 week sort of period where you can hone the skill for something specific, and it's on a timeline which also pushes us, because you need, I think with anything of a learning journey, you can do many online courses and it's up to you to go on it and not do it, or do it, or spend a little as much time. With this, you've got that push that you sort of need to, right? Which I think is also why I personally found the course very successful, because for myself, because it's giving me that push to go do something, even though I have a general busy work lifestyle, right? So yeah, I love them. I love the challenges. They're awesome, and you can see how people are not just performing from playing, getting better, but also like, oh, I'm gonna do this crazy video angle, or get some drones and fly in and take videos. It's sort of like become this huge, crazy competition of stuff you can do.
It's true. I remember seeing the first guy who did this insane, like he took a keyboard to the top of a mountain and he had
Yeah,
bug shots. I was like, what the heck is
yeah,
this guy's done a Mission Impossible movie.
yeah,
And um well, yeah, so that's how they end. So these challenges, I mean, they're called challenges for a reason, because a big philosophy I have is that if you just stay in the comfort zone, what's the point of that? Uh,
yeah.
and progress is right outside that comfort zone. We just go there one step at a time. And in the end of this challenge, you, the students, have to send a submission in, and then somebody gets picked, and then they become the Ridley Academy Grammy winner. I know you were one of those, and and that's there just honestly, that was just for a bit of fun to start with. It was almost like
Yeah.
it was just as to put a spirit of play into the whole thing. But the creator that's gone into that, and it's weird. As soon as you say like there's a competition, people just get professional, and
Mhm.
that change in approach of like, oh, okay, like okay, I saw the hugest difference before that challenge, after that challenge, to the way that people were approaching songs, and there was
Yeah.
something deliberate about it. It was like, all right, yeah, I'm clear where I've got to get to, and by the way, you're gonna love it. I just know you're gonna love the next challenge. It launches today. Is that
Cool.
it's an Elton John song, and
Oh, nice.
yeah, it's you're gonna love it. Um, okay, so
I feel like on sort of MTV Cribs, like you're like, oh, let me show you around, Stephen. Welcome to my place. And instead of taking you to like the bedroom to show you where the magic happens, like, well, this is where the magic happens. You
so
do like a Ridley Academy Cribs.
it's very, it's very true. Um, so let me ask you this: you can remember before you came in to the Ridley Academy, uh, you were probably skeptical and dubious, and unsure and uncertain, or maybe not. But we have a lot of people who I'll talk to, and I promote this as much as I can. And a lot of people, particularly people who've had negative experiences in the past with music education, um, they're very wary, and they're very like, oh my God, what would be your message to either people that are on the fence or people that are looking at this? Um, what would you say to those people?
Yeah, look, I can understand that. And there's a lot of online things as well as the old way of playing as well, instruments and definitely piano. So for me, I've never experienced something so simple of how to bed it into your brain of how to play, right? And how quickly you can gain experience and knowledge so you can actually start playing straight off. You know, I can still remember the simplest. I think the very first video, which, as I said, I think it's 3 years ago, right, or 3 and a bit years ago, I joined the Masterclass, and obviously 9 months ago for the mentorship. I think the very first video is it the confront skills where
That's right.
you say sit in front of your piano a bit of far away from it and just look at it, right? It sounds stupid, but it's surprising how that changes and makes it easier to come to because they are. It's back to what I said. Sort of, I think piano is being put into the world as this scary thing, right? And you shouldn't touch it and things. So being able to do that, it's like little things like that just make it much more accessible. And you know, I know other people and friends of mine who I have a Russian friend as an example. And she went to Russian school of playing piano, so you can imagine the discipline of that, right? And she's tormented by piano. She doesn't go any. She came around our house, I'd say last year, and I didn't realize she played. And she saw my piano, and she's like, "I don't want to touch it. I don't want to be anywhere near it." Properly like thing of it. And then I started talking to her of and showing her basically some of the finger gym type stuff and things like this, and and talking about scales, how you talk about it. And she was like, okay, it's not as scary anymore. Although she was drilled to a very high level, to a level that she didn't want to touch a piano again, right? And I think the way you've done stuff and the accessibility and the simplicity of it, it makes it very easy to get gains quick. Right, and I think that's the beauty of it, and I think many people will think of piano of, it's many, many lessons, it's very strict, it's very like this, and it's gonna take me 3 years or whatever before I see any gains. Um, I think how you do it, it actually you get gains and personal gains very, very quickly, and I think that's one of the beauties of what you've created, right?
Thank you. Um, I've always found it very bizarre, very bizarre. I played in Russia many times, and though their schools are strict, it's very similar to how we do it in the West. Different language, but same process. I find it very bizarre that traditionally, the more somebody does in piano education, the less they want to play piano. And if they go
Yeah,
to university, they don't want to touch it ever again. I'm like,
yeah,
why? Imagine, it just doesn't make sense, does it? It doesn't make sense that you would get more educated and then want to do it less. It,
yeah,
something's going wrong. And conversely, if we get that right, the more you do it, the more you want to do it. And then that's when you have a journey like yours, when I just want to noodle with a song. And wait a minute, now I can make it my own. Wait a minute, now I'm doing a show. Wait a minute, now I'm singing. Wait a minute, now I'm going to write my own. That's how education should be. It should be this like falling in love, becoming a passion.
yeah,
And I've experienced that in a lot of subjects, but it didn't come intuitively for music either. Either for me, the way I learned was just equally as horrific.
mhm,
And and which is the entire reason I created the school. And I'm just I'm happy. It's an amazing thing to sit here. It's an amazing thing to sit here. It wasn't that long ago that this was just a random dream of mine that I, I had this idea that there would be people all over the world in countries I'll never go to
mhm,
putting out beauty into the world, and the ripple effect of like imagine just thousands of people who I might never even meet, and they're all going
yeah,
putting beauty into the world, and what a more beautiful world that would be. And then here we are, and and now I'm talking to you, and you're over in Germany, and
yeah,
they're doing gigs, and you're getting tens of thousands to even 1 million views on social media and all this amazing stuff, and you just sound like a musician. It's just the most wonderful thing. You know, I play with professional musicians a lot, and the conversations
mhm,
very much like the ones me and you have,
yeah,
because who are a musician now, and you're doing the craft of a musician, working on that skill, crafting that rhythm. I'm still doing the same stuff. Like it's this craft, a craft. It's a passionate. It's kind of a passionate endeavor towards an aesthetic goal. That's what a
yeah,
craft is, and
yeah,
you're such a you're a fine example of I don't know, dude. You make me glad I'm doing it, and you make me feel like I'm doing something. You make me feel I'm doing something right and not completely crazy.
No, definitely, it's amazing. It's amazing, and you know, it's not just it fulfills your life differently, right? So it's just fantastic. So I can't thank you enough for the course, the mentorship, the the engagements and time you put into this as well. It's amazing. It's fantastic, and I've reaped many rewards from it, right? Personally, emotionally, everything else, and I know I will continue to. So
You
yeah,
absolutely will. The best is yet to come, by far. And I'm very interested in this journeying into making your own songs thing you've just said. I think
yeah,
I think that's going to be. I can see what's on the horizon now. Um,
yeah.
that's amazing. Matt, where can people keep up to date with your journey and enjoy your music? How do they find you?
Yeah, good question. So I'm on Instagram, and TikTok, and also YouTube, and it's under Mr. Matt Music. So
Mr. Matt Music.
Mr. Matt Music, that's how you find me. So yeah, Instagram is the main place I do updates. YouTube, I'm sort of rethinking how I do YouTube at the moment, because I've recently kitted out like a studio and stuff with cameras. I just got to figure out the technology, how to use it. But I think that would be more for the YouTube items. But yeah, Instagram is regularly updated with things and activities. So that's, yeah, but all of them are under Mr. Matt Music. Yeah.
Awesome. Matt, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your experience. And dude, I'm just so excited for what comes next. I'm excited to be part of your life. I'm very grateful that you're part of mine. And thank you very much.
Me too. Thank you, Stephen, and thank you for all your time. Right, it's incredible. So thank you very
Pleasure.
much.
Thank you. Bye.
When you feel my heat, look into my eyes. It's where my demons hide. It's where my demons hide. Don't get too close. It's dark inside. It's where my demons hide. Where my demons hide. When the days are cold and the cards all fall, and the sins we see are all made of gold. When your dreams all fail and the ones we hail are the worst of all, and the blood runs stale. Wanna hide the truth, I wanna shelter you. There's nowhere we can hide. No matter what we breathe, we are still made of greed. This is my kingdom come. This is my kingdom come. When you feel my heat, look into my eyes. It's where my demons hide. It's where my demons hide. Don't my demons hide. Don't get too close, it's dark inside. It's where my demons hide. It's where my demons hide. They say it's what you're made, and say it's up to fate. It's woven in my soul. I need